Well, good morning, everyone. We're now 4 days in. It feels like months, but things are looking better. Uh, we are finally feeling like we're moving forward rather than we're moving backwards, and that's a great feeling for all of us to have. In saying that, make no mistake, there will be difficult days ahead, and we are continuing to prepare and address those. Not necessarily firefighting days, although there's lots of hard work to do, but beginning to talk about recovery and how we move beyond that. I say things are looking up for two reasons. The first is that for the last 3 operational periods, we've been able to do what we call regular firefighting. The conditions have allowed us to get right out to the control lines that have been constructed by the Wildfire Service. They've let us get boots on the ground and go in and dig and put water where water needs to be. We haven't been challenged with extraordinary fire behavior that necessitated extraordinary suppression. We're dealing with things like we're used to seeing. However, we are dealing with them on an epic scale, and there is a million points of fire still out there across our community. So we're going to need some time, and it's going to take an extraordinary effort to deal with that. The second reason why things are really looking up is that help continues to arrive for us. It was mentioned that there are close to 500 firefighters on the org chart today. That is a massive, massive operation. And as it's built out, we get to start doing massive things with it as well. The number of structural fire departments that are here helping us continues to grow, as well as the BC Wildfire operation. The public should also take great comfort, as I did this morning, with the arrival of Canada Task Force 1. Yesterday, I requested this heavy urban search and rescue team be deployed to the central Okanagan. This is a national asset, and I wish to thank the Government of Canada, Public Safety Canada, Emergency Management and Climate Readiness BC, and the City of Vancouver for providing this asset of an incredible number of trained professionals. There'll be up to 50 of them on the ground. I briefed the first wave that arrived this morning, and this team brings incredible expertise and horsepower to our operation and will do for us some very difficult things. Their mission is to help us stabilize the incident, to conduct searches and rapid damage assessment. The powerful thing about that team is that they are self-sufficient and they are able to deploy without any impact to our community or existing operation. It consists of professionals from the Vancouver Fire Rescue Service, the Vancouver Police Department, engineers from the City of Vancouver, advanced life support paramedics from the BC Ambulance Service, engineers, physicians, and numerous technical experts who all come as a package. And I am just incredibly happy to report who are already on the ground at this moment. Yesterday, I told everyone that we were making a plan, and today I can tell you that that plan is being executed. These teams are out in the neighborhoods. They are conducting an inventory of properties that have been lost and damaged. They are conducting search operations where we need to have search operations conducted. They are helping us to stabilize utilities that need to be shut off and what we need to do to make the neighborhoods safe. But it's going to be a big chunk of work. I'm also happy to report a part of this group's work will be search. However, we do not have any reports of missing persons at this time. So as this data starts to stream in from the field, the planning work is underway on how we'll begin to report on the numbers of loss and how we commence notifications to the people who have experienced loss. That is going to be a very difficult process, both logistically and emotionally. I understand it's tough news to receive. And with technology, some people may already, be aware of what happened, but we're going to do our best with that. For those that are evacuated, I need to ask for your continued and ongoing patience, particularly around emergency support services and the provision of those. I understand that there is a significant wait for people to register and receive ESS support. The queue is long for people to register, but we're taking steps to try and improve that, including providing real-time information on which groups are being registered. I'll share with the public that my family is in the same line that you are, and we are standing there with you to complete that registration process. So please be patient with that. So from the field, it is actually an eerie feeling out there. I've been in your neighborhood. There is a real quiet that has descended on the community. The neighborhoods are empty. People left when we asked them to. There's a peace and calm out there that is brought about because of the lack of wind and the smoke that's there. But that peace and calm has allowed us to get out there and start hitting these hotspots and work off of those areas. Some of you have lost your homes. There's no question about that, but most of you have survived. There are lots of backyards where the fire has come right to your patio furniture, and it's been stopped there because of the work of the 500 people that are on the ground fighting it. So I want to acknowledge some of those people. It's not just the firefighters. We have had an incredible response and support from our public works and utilities who are running around turning off water so that we have the flows that we need in reservoirs. The staff from BC Hydro and Fortis have worked tirelessly to turn off your utilities, but in many cases turn them on again so that we can have the power to do what we need. The Conservation Officer Service, for example, has manned roadblocks along with the RCMP, which has been incredibly powerful. And yesterday I spoke about it, but I want to highlight it again. The pilots of the aircraft that are flying out there have made an indescribable difference to the firefight that's taken place. I'm feeling like what we have to do going forward is overwhelming, but we're taking it one small bit at a time, and I encourage the public to do the same. We've got an incredible team in place, and that team is building. I'm the first one who gets to speak, but this group of fire chiefs that's sitting here alongside me today, Chief Whiting, Chief Lee, and Chief Kocharovsky, I wouldn't want to be standing aside anyone else other than these gentlemen. They've all experienced what on any normal day would be a significant event in their community. And it just so happens that it's been overshadowed because it's happened to all of us at the same time on a massive scale. So I want to give credit to them and say that how proud I am to serve alongside them. Our departments work seamlessly together, and this is not something you may see across the fire service. The other night, Chief Whiting sent his trucks to help my community, and they were engaged in the firefight in West Kelowna. But he had a fire in his community that I know he dreaded happening. And the powerful thing was, while his trucks were in West Kelowna fighting a fire, my trucks went to Kelowna and fought the fire there. And it's only because our departments train the same way, we work the same way, and we have relationships that we could make something like that happen. We have access to resources on an unprecedented scale now. The challenge is we just need time, and that's what we're working through. We're evaluating the evacuation orders that are in place. As soon as we put them in, we start talking about when we could take them off. And we've done that in great detail this morning already. However, we're not prepared to lift the evacuation orders within the city of West Kelowna or Westbank First Nation at this point. It's not going to happen today. I realize that means another night out of your homes and inconvenience as we lead into the work week for sure. But I ask you to bear with us. As I noted the other day, cooperate, work together, be strong and be safe. and we're all in this together. We will work through it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Jason Brolund, West Kelowna Fire Department. And next up is Chief Travis Whiting from the Kelowna Fire Department.
Good morning. I think Chief Brolund covered a lot of the same situation that we're seeing on this side of the lake. Definitely, it's a day where we can take a deep breath and make really strategic objectives, achievable objectives, and really make some headway on what we're working on, as opposed to the reaction that we've been through in the last couple of days. So similar to Chief Brolund, we saw decreased activity overnight. We did have some flare-ups, and the crews were actively engaged in firefighting, but it has really subsided this morning. And I can tell you, when I was at the staging post this morning, my hands were cold, which was a good sign. So we're going to take advantage of today and tomorrow, which we know are looking like similar weather pattern, to really try and get a handle on protection of neighborhoods and homes. And crews this morning were deployed out with a mission to seek and destroy any perimeter fire around structures. So what that means is, as the fire has crept down into the neighborhoods, we'll be going through neighborhood to neighborhood and working directly behind homes while the fire has subsided a bit, to cool off and extinguish any fire on the perimeter of homes, to create a guard and help bolster the defenses. We got lots of summer left, lots of time left. These days of putting these defenses in will be critical in the long run, and we're very excited to have the opportunity to get this work done. And crews are optimistic and in good spirits heading out today, because we've got some really critical objectives that are going to be met today and tomorrow that will have a big impact. The smoke layer, as much as it is tough, does help it reduce the sun's intensity and is playing a role in this for us. So it's getting good that way. In our area, we will be looking today, tomorrow, and the next day to connect with people who have been impacted, so we can start the process of confirming with people the impacts to their own personal properties. So we'll be going through that process. I guess the only other thing I would say, as much as we work through today and tomorrow and into the next couple of days to bolster defenses and to do the works that we can in anticipation of any changes in weather coming up, it's also a great time for the residents in our communities to take the time as well to make a plan, get a kit, be ready for any changing conditions that might happen, and also to look around your own neighborhoods and homes for those on alert, or even other parts of the community, to ensure that you've taken the time to follow Fire Smart principles. We do have a lot of summer left. I am very happy with where we're sitting today, but I don't want people to think that the season's over. I want us to take the time now while we can to do what we can to prepare for the next 30 days. Other than that, again, as Chief Brolund mentioned, we're all joined at the hip at the fire service level between BC Wildfire and all the structural departments. And it's a very big joint effort of shared resources. And we're really optimistic at what's going to happen over today and tomorrow as far as preparing those defenses.